the Boston Celtics are cooked this year in the playoffs. If they win, and especially if they lose, it's a lose-lose situation for them, and they're cooked. Basically, how it's a lose-lose situation for the Celtics this year in the playoffs is that their path has been significantly altered by injuries. Now, a lot of people will say, it doesn't matter. The Celtics would have made it this far anyway. Healthy Heat, healthy Cavs, it doesn't matter. They would have made it. And yes, that's probably true. But that's also what a lot of people said last year when they played the Heat in the ECF. They said, the Celtics are going to win, it's going to be fine, and they did not win. Now, I get that this Celtics team is a lot different, right? You added Porzingis, who was healthy for, I think, a couple of the games in the Heat series, and you also added Drew Holiday, who was a huge addition, second-team all-defense now, and you look at that and say, that's probably enough to beat the Heat, because the Heat are basically the same team. They added Terry Rozier, but he didn't play anyway. So you think, the Celtics probably win that in 5 or 6 if they're all healthy. If Jimmy's healthy, maybe 7. I don't know. But you look going forward, everyone's looking at that series like, man, they didn't even have their star player. It's a first-round series, whatever. Let's move on, right? Move on to the second round. Cavs kind of giving the Celtics a little bit of issues. Not really. But then when Dimich goes down, Jared Allen never played. You look at that series and you're like, man, Celtics really haven't had a challenge yet. And a lot of people were expecting the Celtics' biggest challenge to probably be the Bucks, who exited in the first round because they didn't have Giannis or Dame. So you're sitting with 2 series now completed in 5 games with the Celtics, with no Jimmy Butler, no Terry Rozier in the first series, and then no Jared Allen and no D-Mitch for half the series in the second series. And then you're going into the third series, into the Eastern Conference Finals, against probably one of the most favorable matchups for the Celtics with the Pacers. Now they're up 2-0. The first game was crazy. I don't know how the Pacers sold that. They had so many opportunities to win that game, and it just seemed like every single time they had a chance to close it, they would just throw the game away. And then the Celtics are too good of a team to not capitalize off of that and win the game like they did. So then they won the second game. That first game might have been the Pacers' only opportunity to get a win in the series. Now the Celtics are so good on the road, and I get the Pacers are so good at home, but I really don't think it's going to matter. Maybe they take one game at home. Celtics in 4, probably 5. I don't know. At the end of the day, people are going to look at this Celtics run to the finals as one of the easiest paths in NBA history, and it's not necessarily their fault. I mean, there were injuries, but what I'm saying is they're cooked. The asterisk is floating. It's wanting to be there with this ring that might come with the Celtics. Now, a lot of people thought the only team that could beat the Celtics was the Denver Nuggets, and they fell short to the Timberwolves in the 7th game after going up 3-2. And you're looking at this like, okay, the Celtics are going to beat the 6-seed Pacers in the conference finals to go to the finals to play the 5-seed Mavs or the 3-seed Timberwolves led by a 22-year-old. So you're saying, okay, if they play the Mavs, they played the guy who was 3rd in MVP voting, and Kyrie, and then some role players that stepped up in the playoffs. People are going to be hating on that finals if the Celtics win. They're going to say, they didn't play the real toughest team in the Nuggets. They didn't play the real best defense in the Wolves. But then, if the Wolves make the finals, they're still going to say, they're so young. Man, Anthony Edwards was 22 years old. You really expect him to beat that Celtics team? You see what I'm saying? The Celtics are cooked. There's nothing they can do. They could sweep their ECF and the finals, and people are going to be hating on this ring no matter what, calling it Mickey Mouse. Injuries, carried by matchups. And I can't help, I'm a diehard NBA fan, and it hurts to see both of these ways. It hurts to say, this is a well-earned Celtics ring. It's hard to say that because of what the path that they've had to this ring. And it's hard to say, discredit it, because at the end of the day, it is an NBA championship. But what I'm saying is when they win the finals, the media is going to cook them because of the path that they had. They're going to hate on Jason Tatum. They're going to hate on Jaylen Brown. And they're going to say, man, they had the God team. They had the best team, and they played against injured teams. They played against low-seeded teams in the finals and young teams in the finals. And the Celtics, no matter what they do from here on out, they could win. Like I said, they could win every game. They could make it close. It's cooked. The Celtics this postseason are cooked.